All right, welcome to day three of the Economy Creators Challenge. Today we're going to be talking about self-image. But before we do that, I would love to hear some thoughts about what has kind of transpired in your world as you go through the worksheets from days one and two and start thinking about the things that you really want. We talked a little bit about desires that popped up that you weren't quite knowing that they were there, but also how about yesterday after you noticed what are some limiting beliefs that are showing up that are popping up that you're like, I didn't work on that. So, does anybody want to share anything that kind of popped up for them as they go through? I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about the process or about what you're noticing. Mm.
Rethinking. I'm just doing a lot of rethinking.
Rethinking. Okay, yeah. Is it because you've been thinking in a certain way most forever and now you're
Yeah,
changing a little bit?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you, I know you weren't here for day one, but on the live call, but have you allowed yourself to kind of go to that place of what
hmm
do I want?
Yep. I did
Mhm.
that the first day I watched the video and did it.
Good, good. And had you done that before, or was that something new for you?
I did a vision board for the very first time this year. So that's
Oh.
probably the closest I've done to it.
Hmm.
Um, for the longest time, I'm like, what's a vision board? What's that? So,
Yeah, yeah, that's
uh,
so cool.
so yeah, so that sort of helped me get on the right track with it a little bit, but
Good.
took it deeper.
Hmm. Good. Fabulous. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else have any thoughts or notice any things that came up or questions that you might have about what's happening?
Mhm.
Go ahead, Donna.
I noticed like this week, just in Ryan's challenge and everything, like I'm able to notice limiting beliefs coming up or kind of my paradigms talking to me.
Oh, how do you
Like
notice them?
I I was telling you about that with applying for the travel agency. I looked at
Mhm.
what they required, and my initial thought was, I'm not going to be able to do that. Like that I'm not good enough kind of thing, because they want you to maintain a certain quota each quarter of you have to like sell so much travel to a certain amount.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's too much. I can't do that. All this came in immediately. And then it took me a while to realize it. Like I just left it like that when I was looking at it. But later on, when I thought about it, I was like, oh, that's terrible. My paradigm like came in immediately like that and telling me I can't do it. Why can't I do it? Other people are doing it. I saw the whole list of all the advisors in the company. So I was like, if they can do it, I can do
There
it.
you go.
Yeah, so I'm actually noticing it because that used to always like frustrate me, kind of like, how do you notice your limiting beliefs? I wouldn't know how to see them or, realize that they were there. And I'm starting to notice them now
Mm-hmm.
and talk the opposite of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, that's a good question. How do you notice them? So, one of the ways that I notice them is when I I find that I want something. Well, we'll just say a horse. I want a horse, right? I want this horse. And then everything after that, going, oh, you don't have the money, you don't have the time, you don't have the this, you don't have the that. Mark's not going to say yes. What the. Those are all paradigms. So the I want is good. The I can't do this, I don't know how, blah, 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 blah. That's all paradigm. So paradigms tend to talk us out of exactly what we want to do. right? So that's why we need to listen to those desires from day one and go, oh, this is what I want, and keep out that I don't know how, I don't know how this is even going to happen. Can I even do that? Who am I? We just kick those thoughts down and just focus on what do I want? And that's when we know that those wants are true. Sometimes we come up with a want and then we're like, maybe I should want something less. That sounds like a big want, right? And we amend our wants. That's also paradigm. No, your original want was up here. Let's keep it up here, right? And we have to remember that when we want something up here, that is the power, that's evidence of the power to be able to actually do it. So when we desire something, go, yay, I can do this automatically. Train yourself to do that and just quash those paradigms. Say, shush, right? Hi, Allie.
Hi, Mary. Hi, everyone. I wanted to comment on that. Actually, it is a huge challenge to keep that high. I mean, because we always feel like, isn't it too much? Let's think more realistically, And it's a challenge just to say, no, stop it. You dreamt initially high, so keep it
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Yeah, it's that because we've been trained to be realistic, haven't we? It's like, no, is that realistic? Should you do that? Are you talented enough to do that? Or do you have the resources for that? Or we've been trained to be realistic. We've been trained to weigh the pros and cons. Should I go to this place? Should I go to that place? What should I do? No, what do you want? Which one? And if you don't want either, which one do you want out of all the other things, all the other options there are out there? And it's quite liberating once you kind of get the hang of not listening to those backpedalings, those things that are just like, no, 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 no. It's liberating. You're like, no, what would I love? What would I love right now? I have uh well, a colleague, I'll say a colleague. And she was in the airport one time and people were just there. She was in line and people were complaining about how slow the line was going through the TSA, and people directly in front of her said, oh, blah, blah, blah. They were just complaining about it. And she goes, what, let's talk about what we would love instead. And she goes, what would we love? I want this line to move. I want to keep going. I want to be through. I want to be sitting in my, comfortably reading a book at the other end of the security check, right? And she said within 90 seconds, the line started moving. So we get to direct that energy. We get to keep it moving and keep it flowing. And it happens when we're doing something that we love, right? Something that where we're in the flow of, and we're like, ooh, that idea is good. Let's write that down. That's really good. Come on, keep going, keep going. We can feel that flow. But when we put the brakes on, when we go, oh, this is stupid. This is not working. This is just this, and this is just that, and that guy did this, and that person did that, and we stop ourselves, and then the flow stops. So if we focus on what we love, in any moment, we're allowing that energy to flow. So that list of desires, if it's hard to go there because I want that, go to what would I love? Maybe that has less resistance for you. Hi, Larry. How you doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
Fantasticer. I'm just kidding.
Fantastic.
How's the challenge going for you so far?
Oh, it's going great. I love it.
Good.
Make sure you keep going. You know what I mean? It's just the economy challenge is really helping me actually. It's it's triggered some other things to do as well. So it's pretty cool. I like it.
Good.
Yeah,
Good. I'm so glad. Is it in the sense that, are you meaning in the sense that you were focused on one thing and then you thought, oh, I could even include that, or could include that type of thing?
absolutely. And then even some of the things that I write down as far as my personal and work related desires, those have changed as well. Just
Oh,
even within a day or two or whatever, I've changed that verbiage so that it's more consistent and positive instead of what I don't want. So I put on there what I do want,
yeah,
desire, and I try
good.
off the things that I don't care for.
Yeah, yeah. Keep those away from you.
Yeah,
Well, and sometimes to that point, sometimes it is helpful to notice what you don't want because that clues you into, well, if I don't want that, I want the opposite,
that's right.
right? Yeah. Like I don't want that fight. I want this peaceful relationship or whatever it is that we're talking about, right?
That's right.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Yeah. So I want everybody to kind of think about we're going into self-image. So I'd like you to think about yesterday, and we were thinking about how we're changing a paradigm, how we're rewriting how a belief that we hold that could be holding us back. Maybe I'm not good enough, or I don't know enough, or only those types of things happen to that type of person, not this type of person, whatever you think is a belief that might be holding you back. And I want you to pick a word that that you'd rather be, that you'd like to live into. Like yesterday, I mentioned the word calm or confident or wise or happy. Happy is a good one. I would always want to be happy, right? Or positive. Positive could be good. Maybe you notice that you're a negative thinker a lot of the times, and maybe you want that to shift. You want to be a positive thinker. So let's all pick a word and put it in the chat. What word do you kind of really just want to be? What do you think would really help you to focus on this word to be? Hmm. And it's not a test. So don't feel like um you're pigeonholed into this one word. Enthusiastic about life. I love that, Larry. That's so good. Yeah. Feeling great about just being alive. I love it. Ooh, decisive. That's a good one. Mm. Confident. What did abundant and happy? Yes, both of those words exist. Love it. Confident. Yes. Effective. Ooh, so good. Abundant. I love it. I love those words because when we can start seeing ourselves more often in that way, the better. So take your word and your four words and what does that look like? Think about that. What does that look like? What does enthusiastic about life look like? Because to some people it might be, hey, I just climbed Mount Everest, and to other people it's, hey, I just got out of bed. So it could be anything, right? So what does that mean to you? So make this word personal for you. What does it mean to be abundant and happy? Because abundant and happy is different for me than it is for you, Allie. And Ryan, what does decisive mean? Is it big decisions, little decisions, any decision? What does it mean? Um, Ludi, confident in one thing, everything, some things, other things. I don't, let's be an effective. What does effective mean, Donna? What is it like how does that show up for you? So write those things down. What do we think? And if anyone would like to share, feel free. You can share out loud if you'd like. Go ahead, Allie.
I can share something on this. I mean, it's just so interesting. Last year was an interesting year for us. Like the first 2 quarters and the second 2 quarters were completely different. The first two and like the previous two of the previous year were pretty harsh because of we were changing some things in our business. Also AI hit, so it was like a huge change for everyone. Everyone thought, okay, I can just do everything on Canva with AI. So, but like there's this adjustment, and it was kind of a harsh time. It felt scarce, money wise, projects wise, everything. So, but we still were in Argentina, and we had already taken that decision of being there for 3 months and going to also Uruguay and a bit. And sometimes when I was going to spend money on something, I was just, of course, you feel like you're not really making that much money in that period, and you just feel a lot of kind of guilt and fear and everything. And many times I was telling to myself, spend that money, think about abundance and feel that it's gonna come. It's going to come, and be confident. And I was very far from, hearing to everything we've discussed with you, but I felt like that was the way to think, at least, and eventually it came. It took time, but it came. And once I had that confidence on like, money's gonna come, and it's just, yeah, it just felt different. And what abundant and happy feels to me is just be able to make decisions regardless of money. So like if I want to, right now I have a wedding that I would love to attend to, but just going there, it's like, and then the wedding present and like everything, it's like 2K at least out of nowhere. Yeah, at least. So, but then I'm like, I haven't put it in my goals there yet because I'm scared. But I am on that, and because I also haven't completely decided if it's in line with my energy and where I want to be 100%. But yeah, I feel like I want to make that decision based on not like, okay, it's 2K or whatever. It's like I want to be there or I don't want to be there, or
Yeah. Yeah. And making the decision based on, what do I love? What do I want? Right? Because asking the question, can I afford it, is a different energy than, do I want to be there?
Yeah.
Right? Is this aligned with who I am and how I show up? Or can I afford that? Right? It's a different energy completely. So I love that, coming from this abundance and happiness, this place, and making decisions from that is really wonderful, because all of a sudden then, like, all of a sudden, it's, if I want to go, the money will be there. Right? Hmm. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Good job. Anybody else want to share? What does your word mean to you, Ludi?
I will.
Okay.
Um, my word is confident, and that's it, because for 2.5 years I was agoraphobic and wouldn't even leave my house. So I am just now like, it's been a year that I've been getting out and about again. And I don't think, I haven't been in a grocery store yet. So I just don't like that. And I'm pretty good at one-on-one talking to people, but it's just that I want to feel confident getting out and comfortable again. Like
Yeah.
I used to talk to everybody I ran into. I
Hmm.
don't do that anymore.
Hmm. Yeah. I love that. I love that. And being just confident in just being in the space. Is that what you mean? Hmm. Yeah. Love that. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you. Donna, you had your hand up?
Yeah, what I initially wrote down was successfully completing tasks for effective.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just looked it up too in synonyms, and it said productive, capable of producing a desired result.
Mm.
And that ties in also with what I was talking about with the travel agency, and also with what I'm doing with the symphony, because I was getting away from it and just watching YouTube videos, I have a weakness for those.
No,
um,
I don't.
okay, sorry. Yeah. um, up until now, right? So I want to see myself as effective as completing these tasks that are given to me and successfully getting them done. And because also I saw it with working with that consultant. We took like 2 weeks off, for Christmas and New Year's. And when we got back together, she was like, "Oh, did you do this, and that?" I was like, "No, no," and I felt terrible that I wasn't able to say, "Oh, yeah, I successfully completed that and it's done," and all that. So it caused me to like not feel good about myself, kind of, and so I don't want to be like that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, Donna, thank you for sharing that because you just nailed the whole, I don't want to feel this way, so I want to be this, right? That contrast really shows you exactly how you want to be. You want to be effective, you want to be completing tasks. And one of the things Wallace D. Waddell says in The Science of Getting Rich is that effective action is about really focusing in on what it is that you want the end result to be first, having an image of that, and then doing it, right? And then getting to work. But sometimes we're not effective because we just act to act and we just do actions and we spin our wheels and nothing really gets done. But if we have a final vision of what it is that we want the project, whatever it is. It could be loading your dishwasher, what you want it to look like. Oh, look at all that. And the glasses are here and the plates are there. And it could be as simple as that task. If you have an image of what the dishwasher looks like, guess what? You're going to be much more efficient because you're going to put the glasses where the image goes and you're going to put the plates where they go. And it doesn't that make sense? So any task that you do, just take a second and go, what does it look like at the end? And then go do it, right? And then you know that you're successful.
Yeah, thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
because I've been slacking off also, well, up until now, with getting the house ready for a showing. Like I go over everything, get everything done, and twice these past two showings, Saturday and Tuesday, I left the garbage in here, and we normally move the garbage out into the garage when there's a showing, and I left it sitting there. So I wasn't successfully completing it, but that's a good point. I'll see it completely bare and with no garbage.
Maybe baking cookies in the oven. No, I'm just joking. Does anybody else want to share what their word means to them? Go ahead, Ryan.
Of course, mine is decisive. I think that just, really kind of occurred to me just in the last 7 days that I've been overthinking too much in my life. And now I want to become Mr. Decisive in 2026 and just go with it. Roll with it, baby. I think there's a song called Roll With It. I think it was Peter Gabriel.
Probably.
Roll with
Oh,
it,
Ludy's singing it.
baby. Yeah. That's how I want to do this year because I want I want to serve more people. I want to take on more fun things to do inside of our community. Mary's tasked me, as Donna mentioned earlier, this month's challenge in Magnet 30, the 30-day challenge, is all about organization. And yeah, I caught myself overthinking it every day, every single day, every time I was writing. What was I going to post today? What's the journal prompt going to be? I'm like, oh. And I'm like, what would Mary do? I always think that as well. And Mary just
You need a
decides and does
bracelet.
it. Mary decides and does it. And Bob decides and does it. And all the successful people do that. And I think there's probably things that I could list off, but one in particular that would hijack my progress and my goal achieving activities and my productivity would be overthinking and spending too much time. So decisive. Ah, I love that word, decisive.
Yeah.
That's my
Well, and one of the things to know and to make everybody feel better about decisions that you're making is that we're the ones that make the decision good or bad. So it's up to us to make a decision and then decide to make that decision right. So I make the decision. There's nothing else that says it's right or wrong. It's just us. So overthinking it goes, is this the right decision? According to whom, right? Who said if that's not the right post, it is the right post for today, right? We can do other posts tomorrow. We have 30 days of posts. It's going to be okay, right? So and that also comes down to perfectionism, right? We want to keep progress moving forward rather than getting stuck in, is this the right decision? According to whom? You. Make it right? Yeah, I love it. I love it. Larry, you're the only one who didn't share. Do you want to? You don't have to. Enthusiastic about life. Oh, you're going to type it? Okay. Oh, you're going to say it. Okay.
No, I'm trying to unmute myself. It took me that long just to unmute.
Oh,
Gee,
you're really enthusiastic about life.
yeah, that's what I wrote. I was more specific. Um, in my declarations or my desires or whatever, being specific, not more specific, just being specific on. So enthusiastic about life, and I was talking about really enthusiastic about the now and just living in the now and being enthusiastic about the now instead of worrying about tomorrow, the next day, last week, or whatever. Just be enthusiastic about now. Because I know there's a lot of times, folks, they just, they get depressed and, just it just spirals, I feel.
Mhm.
So being
And
enthusiastic now and all I have is now, that just makes sense to me.
I love that. I think that's wonderful because we can't act in the future. We can't change the past. We can
Mhm.
only act now, right? And that's so great. I love that being enthusiastic about life, about now, the current what's going on.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And when you do that, you bring all of your energy to now. You bring all of your energy to exactly what's going on in the moment. And what we find when we do that is that worry doesn't happen. Generally, worry is always in the future or past. It's not happening now, right? And so I think that you're going to do a lot less worrying
All right.
if you do that.
Well, I've got to go. My wife's here to pick me up.
Okay. Thanks for being here. Thanks for
Thanks
sharing.
for having me.
See you tomorrow. All right. Thank you for sharing, everybody. I think those are wonderful words and really great anchors for yourself as you do the next exercise that we're going to talk through for today. Because when I do a self-image scripting workshop, and I don't, this particular exercise that we're going to do for this challenge isn't the same as that self-image scripting workshop. But what this word does for you in this way is that you can begin forming an image around what that word means. So you have that word, and then you form an image of what that looks like, what you just described to everybody here. And then you can begin thinking about what that looks like throughout the day. When you wake up, what does that look like? When you go out grocery shopping, what does that look like? When you complete a task, what does that look like? When you make a decision, what does that look like? And so, how does that version of me, who is this word, how does that person show up? Right? So you can use that as an anchor for yourself. Ryan, would you please put the day 3 worksheet in the chat? And then we're going to, and I'm sharing my screen. This is the day 3 worksheet. It's all about self-image, and we were just talking about that. But it's becoming the person who creates the economy you want. You are the center of your economy, and that's what this is all about, is creating an economy that thrives because you are the center of it. It thrives because you are the center of it. You are unique. There is nobody like you who has the same experience, the same talents, the same interests, you are unique and you have something wonderful to share with the world. And this economy is not necessarily all about how to earn the next dollar. It's about balance in your life. And it's about how you show up all the time in anything that you do. And it's attracting new opportunities that come your way. So when you begin to create the self-image of the person who has the economy that you want, I started off as a gymnast and then I started writing gymnastics books. And then when I wrote gymnastics books, I started a publishing company and then I started a gym and then I gave the gymnastics books to the kids in the gym. And so my economy expanded as I expanded. And that's what's going to happen for all of us. And so, one of these things, and we're going to talk a lot about that tomorrow, about looking back at the experiences you've accumulated and what you've learned along the way to apply that forward. But today, what we're really going to focus on is understanding that you have a self image and you have an image of who you are in any situation, how you show up in any situation, how people perceive you as you interact with them. And the thing is to understand is that you can't outperform how you see yourself. So if someone intimidates you and you don't know, you get stuck in your words when that particular person comes around because you start judging yourself and wondering, what is that person thinking of me while I'm talking about this? And all of a sudden your words don't come, right? But if you begin seeing yourself in a different way and seeing yourself as someone who's able to speak their mind freely and the words come easily and you change how you see yourself, then you begin to embody that. And then all of a sudden, that person sees you in the way that you're showing up, right? So, day one, we clarified what it is that we wanted. And day two, we talked about the paradigms that were holding us back. And so, this is the bridge that brings us into the next step. So, we want to assume the identity of the person who's already achieved the goal. So when you look at that list of desires, pick one that really just stands out to you. This one I want now. And, Larry said it, now is the only time. So don't pick it because it's the most realistic. Don't pick it because it's the easiest. Don't pick it because it's the thing that makes the most sense right now. Pick it because you want it. What do you want? What would you love? Right? And here's the thing about these desires. They're still, all of them are still yours. So don't feel like you're neglecting the others because you're picking one to focus on. Because when you step into this one, you're going to raise your awareness, you're going to raise your ability to attract more and more and more. And you're going to find that all these other ones are going to fall into place as well. For instance, when I decided I had all my goals, I had my self-image script, and then all of a sudden I added the horse Ben to it. I'm like, oh, I want to own Ben. I just added to it. And and I didn't know when that was going to happen. Then I decided when it was going to happen, but I didn't know at first. And the thing is, what I found myself explaining to my husband was that we don't get to choose when the opportunity shows up for each of these particular desires. So as we raise our level of consciousness and our awareness, we begin attracting at a different level. And then we begin attracting those things that are on our list, plus more and really great things. But we don't get to choose the order that they show up in. And so we have to be willing to say yes when they do show up and welcome them in. Because sometimes we are like, hey, that wasn't supposed to happen till next year. What are you doing? For instance, I'll have another example. So we used to own a gymnastics center, and my husband and I, and we have a daughter, Lola, and I always envisioned being finished with the gym when she was 18. Well, I also knew that I wanted to do more. not just gymnastics, but more personal development like what I'm doing now. And so I would find myself wondering, how am I extricating myself from the gym? How am I not going to be there as much? And how do I do that? And the only thought that came to me was, I have to wait till Lola graduates high school. I have to wait till she's 18, right? Well, then COVID hit, and we really abbreviated our business in our gym, and it really slowed down. And we made the decision we could either build it back up or we could close it down and start something new. And we decided to start something new because my idea was, well, I've already done the gym thing. I know I can do it, and I don't want to do it again. I don't want to spend another 10 years doing it. And so I wasn't quite ready. Lola wasn't graduated from high school yet. I didn't think that it was going to happen as fast, but it did. And that opportunity showed up, and that's when we know, well, I did ask for it, so I'm going to take it, right? So we kind of have to go with the flow when we identify these things that we desire. We have to, it might be out of our comfort zone. It was certainly out of our comfort zone to close our gym. But at the same time, we knew that the growth was on the other side of that closure. So keep that in mind as new opportunities show up, and as the 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 items on your list kind of come into your world, and you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting you so soon. And but that's the way of the world. That's the way of the universe. And so there's always a surprise, and it's a wonderful surprise. So think about that and be accepting of those desires that show up as they come about. So that's just my 2 cents there. But we really have to understand that the self-image that we're creating is the person who's already achieved the goal. So when we choose that goal that's on the list because we love it, how does that person show up? When that person, that version of me who has the goal, when I look at that person, what does it look like? What does she do? How does she carry herself and or himself? How do we how does her business run? How does his business run? How do we interact with people? How do we how are our relationships? What are the ways that we interact with the world, with animals, with nature, where do we live? What do we drive? All of these things that go into this self-image. And we can create this image around this goal. And I want you to understand it's not about pretending. And so many people ask me, well, it feels like I'm lying to myself when I say these affirmations over and over and over again. And what I really want you to hear is that affirmations are not about faking it until you make it. Affirmations are about raising your level of vibration to match where you want to be so you can call that into your existence. So if you find yourself, I'll just say, use happy and sad as something simple. So if you find yourself sad, and then instead you notice that and you say, no, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm joyful. I'm joyful. It's not because you're trying to lie to yourself. You're trying to raise your vibration to get to that happy state. So when you do that and you say happy and joyful and happy, I'm joyful, you begin to feel differently. It might not happen right away, especially if you're feeling very depressed or something. But at the same time, when you focus your attention on the word joy and just say it over and over again, and then you start thinking about what joy looks like, and maybe it's a puppy licking your face, or maybe it's looking out at a beautiful sunset, or whatever it might be, you start changing that level of vibration, and then you start smiling, and you just change. So it's not about lying to ourselves, it's about shifting. So really think that and really understand that as you're going through these types of exercises. So we want to go through that list of wants and pick one from your personal desire list and from your professional desire list that you just want to focus on for the next year, right? And you're not locked into anything because guess what? All their desires are going to pop up, and it's okay to want more and more. And just because you're going after this one doesn't mean you can't go after another one. Okay? You're getting more effective as you raise your level of consciousness. So the script that we exercise that we have is you want to begin with I am so happy and grateful now that. And you just put down your goal. I'm earning X number of dollars. I am this, that, and the other thing. I am, I own Ben. That was mine for a while. But you want to be happy and you're grateful when this happens, right? And so that's why Bob always has us say happy and grateful. And you're going to write a short intro paragraph, and it just describes what you're willing to do in service or in exchange. It might not be direct service to others, but there's certainly something that needs to happen in exchange for what it is that you want. There's a law of compensation. So whatever you give, you get. So what is something that you're going to give? And maybe if you want to write a book, well, I'm giving inspiration to all my readers, and that's what you're giving, right? And so don't think of it necessarily as a monetary exchange or something like that, but it's an energetic one. So inspiring people is certainly giving in service, right? So we're going to go further inside of the law of compensation, and this is key. Bob Proctor and Earl Nightingale teach that the law of compensation is three things: the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there is in replacing you. Now, it might seem at the beginning that all of these are other people's perceptions. Do they think that what I do is important? That do they need what I have? Uh, do they think I'm good at it? Do they think I am difficult to replace? But it really has nothing to do with anybody else. It has everything to do with you. So, do you believe that the need for what you do is important? Is what you do important? Do you believe it? And we need to cultivate that belief that what I do is important. If it's not important to you, then don't do it, right? So there's something else that's more important. And if what you're doing doesn't feel important to you, then I suggest that you find what you do feel important, or what you do feel is important, so you can do that. Okay? That's really key here. You have to feel that it's important. And then the second part, your ability to do it. You're the best at what you do. How do you get better at what you do? You do what you love, and you do what lights you up. You're going to naturally want to get better at something because you love doing it. So your ability to do it, you're going to improve the more you do it. And you're going to want to do it more. And when you do it more, you get better. So keep moving towards that ability to do it. You believe that you're getting better and better every day. I am the best at this today, right? And it's different than yesterday because you're only competing with you. I am the best at this today. What energy am I putting into this now? Right? Larry said it's in the now. If we're focusing all of our energy on the now and being the best that we can be right now, then we are the best at what we're doing. Okay? And then the difficulty there is in replacing you. So remember, you're unique. There is only one person that can do what you do in the way that you do it, and that's you. There's nobody else with your combination of talents talents and experiences and interests. There, you have to believe that you're difficult to replace. So these are some belief shifts that need to happen for you if they're not already part of what you believe about what you do. And then the next piece is, who are you willing to become? Describe the thoughts and the physical habits that you need to develop and the character traits that you need to hold in order to reach your goal. I imagine that your word that you described before would go right in here, right? If you're effective, well, you're moving towards your goal. You're doing things in a certain way, right? If you're confident, you're holding yourself in a certain manner, and you're talking to people in a certain light, and you're walking into a room and you feel confident, right? And so describe that, and you all did that already. So you can just kind of take that little synopsis and put it right in there. And then what we want to do is, we don't want to just stick this in a drawer somewhere. We want to type it up, print it out. It's less than a page. Keep it with you throughout the day. And remind yourself, this is me. This is who I am. This is who I'm becoming. This is how I show up. And then you can incorporate it into your day in a number of ways. You don't have to do all of these things, but you can handwrite it in the morning. Handwriting is really important. And the reason why is, the scientific reason why is because handwriting versus typing uses way more neural pathways. Yeah. Ludi was saying the same thing as I was saying. But it really does, because writing induces thinking, and thinking creates images, and then we get more emotionally involved in what it is that we're doing. Okay. So handwriting is important. You can visualize it twice a day for 5 minutes each. You can just sit there and you could read it and visualize it as you're reading it, or you could just close your eyes and see it. See the image of you achieving your goal, or just have an image of what it looks like when it's achieved. So my image, a lot of you know it already, is me standing on my back patio with my hot cup of coffee in my hand, looking out at my pasture with my beautiful horses, right? And that I always go to that image. I mean, I can just rattle it off now. You probably all can rattle it off by now. So that is how built in it is for me. And it might not represent anything to anybody else, but to me, it means it's done. My goal is achieved. You could read your script every 2 hours. The reason behind this one is that, in the next one, record it. Well, there's a little more to the recording one, but the every 2 hours thing. When you have a newborn baby, what do you do every 2 hours? You feed it. Yeah, you feed it. You feed that little baby, because you're nurturing the baby. And this is the same thing. You're nurturing the idea. You're feeding the idea. And so when we set a timer and do it every 2 hours, we are nurturing the idea, and we're bringing it into life. We're giving life to this idea. Okay. And then the recording it and listening to it, when when we're speaking our own voice and we record it and listen to what we say, it assimilates into our subconscious mind more quickly than somebody else's voice. So if you have this script and you read it and you record it and you listen to it, it's going to be more effective than somebody else reading it and recording it and you listening to it. You could also print multiple copies and keep them in different places throughout you could have one on your computer, you could have one over, at your favorite chair, by your bedstand. You could do all sorts of things in your bathroom mirror if you want to. But these are ways that you can incorporate it into your day. So there's space inside of the worksheets for you. So that being said, does anybody have any questions about this one? It's very powerful. It's a very powerful piece. Questions, comments, concerns? Happy to answer anything. I can see wheels turning.
Well, I you know, the I'm looking at this as a short-term goal. That's related to a lot of all the stuff that I've written down, but just over the next 90 days. Because I think at the beginning you were telling us think about a goal or think about something, write a script for over the next year. That's that's fine too. But when I think of short term, I think of the next 90 days. Also, one thing that I've done this exercise before in your self-image scripting workshops, and I always come back and keep doing it every single time because it helps with me fine-tuning or maybe pivoting to a next goal. And then after doing this workshop, we're on day 3, I've come up with some more ideas. But my goal is to, well, I'm just going to give a full disclosure. I'm just going to come clean. I don't always write my goal out every day. And so my goal is to make it so that I want to write it out every morning. Every single day. I say my goal, my self-image script, my short-term self-image script every single morning.
Hmm. That's
Yeah.
good.
So
Yeah.
I want to make this, you know, I'm gonna turn over a new leaf in 2026, and I'm gonna write my self-image script every single morning.
There you go. I like it. I like it. Good for you. Anybody else have any questions or comments about this? Um, I love this short-term script because and it this can be a short-term goal, it can be a 6-month goal, it can be a 90-day goal, it can be a year goal, it can be whatever you want it to be. Bob would always say, put a date on it so it lights a fire, so you feel a sense of urgency. But if you don't make it by the date, guess what? You just guessed wrong. So just change the date. That's it. It doesn't have to be heavy. It just has to be something that gets you moving. Because if you say, in 25 years, I'm going to do this, well, you're probably not going to start moving until 24 years from now. Right? It's just the nature of the beast. So it can be a short-term script. One of the things too, Sandy Gallagher, she's the other mentor inside of Proctor Gallagher, and she says even if another big goal comes up, like she had a big goal and then she found a house that she wanted to buy, and that was also a big goal. And so she asked Bob, she's like, "Do I change my goal?" And he goes, "No, keep the first one, and then put the house also in there, right?" And so that's kind of like what happened with the horse. I still have my goal, but I'll just insert Ben in there, I'll get the horse first. And then that's kind of how it works. And so don't change the bigger date on the big goal because who are you to say that you can't do it? It can happen. It can happen. All right. Any other questions? This is a big exercise, so have fun. And if you have any questions as you're going through it, just send me a message. Happy to help you. All right. Anything else for the good of the order before we wrap today up?
Just a thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Ludi. Thank you for being here. Thank you for
Yeah.
being here. Is that tree, is that what they call the friendship tree? Is that what that is?
Um, it's partly that, but then there's 2 hands underneath it.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it's my company logo.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. Do you want to tell everybody what you do? Because it's wonderful.
Oh, you know? Okay. I actually am a dementia care mentor. So what I do is I work with families that are caring for a loved one with dementia because they can't afford to put them in a home or get the professional help. And so I help guide, teach, train, educate the family on the disease itself, the patient as well, and then guide them through the process and the journey.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Thank you for doing that. It's so
Yeah.
important. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, everyone. Thank you all for being here and thank you for being such willing participants in this. And let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. I'm happy to help you. All right. We'll see you tomorrow for day 4. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.